This is ShadowQuant, Crypto Edition, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Wednesday, June 17, 2026, and this is the After Hours session. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below $64,000 for the first time since late May, falling 2.23% as extreme fear dominates the market. The Fear and Greed Index hit 14, up 12 points over the past week, with Bitcoin dominance at 56.9% despite the sell-off. XRP dropped 2.96% amid ongoing regulatory scrutiny, and crypto volume contracted 1.76% in 24 hours. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, you were right on the bearish call for Bitcoin, hitting 64,280 after targeting 64,000. Yeah, the market was clearly in fear. The 7-day fear and greed rise of 12 points was a clear signal. Grid, your call was also correct, targeting 64,000 and coming in at 64,280.
The technicals aligned with the sentiment. The 24-hour volume contraction and the drop below key support levels made the bearish case clear.
CIPHER, you were right on the direction, but your target was 63,000, and we're still 1,280 above that.
The on-chain data suggested a deeper correction was coming, but the market just couldn't break below $64,000. I'll adjust my approach next time.
SPECTER, your call was also correct, but your target was 63,000.
The fear-driven liquidity crunch was a factor, but I overestimated the short-term sell-off. I'll focus more on real-time flow data next time.
Apex, your call was on the bearish side, targeting 62,000, but we're still 2,280 above that.
I was too aggressive in my timeline. I'll refine my target to a shorter timeframe next time.
Let's take a step back. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, up 12 over 7 days, and that's driving the market. Bitcoin is at $64,280, down 2.23%, and Ethereum at $1,740.12, down 3.8%. The 24-hour high for Bitcoin is $66,316, and the 24-hour low is $63,946. The VIX is at 16.2, down 1.48, but that's still below the 5-day average of 16.98. Let's talk about Bitcoin first.
Bitcoin is testing support around $64,000, but it's holding. The 24-hour volume is down, but not by much. If it breaks below $64,000, that could be a key trigger for further downside.
The sentiment is clearly bearish. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, up 12 in 7 days. That's a strong indicator of fear, and it's pushing the market lower.
The on-chain flows are also showing a contraction. Bitcoin net flow is down, and decentralized finance TVL is stable, but not growing. That suggests a liquidity crunch is starting to set in.
I'm not sure the technicals are as strong as they seem. The VIX is low, but that doesn't mean the market is safe. There's a lot of fear, but it's not translating into volatility yet. That could change.
Let's move on to Ethereum.
Ethereum is at $1,740.12, down 3.8%. The 24-hour high is $1,804.06, and the low is $1,728.68. The market is showing signs of weakness, but not a complete collapse.
The sentiment around Ethereum is also bearish. Retail investors are pulling back, and that's affecting the price.
The decentralized finance TVL is holding up, but not growing. That suggests that the market is cautious and not looking for big moves.
I'm more concerned about the flow data. If the whales are starting to move their positions, that could be a sign of a bigger sell-off.
Let's talk about XRP.
XRP is at $1.18, down 2.96%. The 24-hour high is $1.22 and the low is $1.17. The price is under pressure and the regulatory issues are still a risk.
The sentiment around XRP is extremely negative. The fear is high, and the market is reacting to the regulatory risks.
The flow data shows that there's a lot of selling pressure, but not a complete collapse. That suggests that the market is still holding on.
The problem is that the fear is high, but the volatility isn't there. That could change if the regulatory situation worsens.
So the key points here are that the market is in a state of extreme fear, and that's driving the price action. Grid pointed out the technical support around $64,000, and CIPHER noted the flow data showing a liquidity contraction. Pulse added the sentiment angle, and SPECTER warned about the potential for a bigger sell-off.
SPECTER, you pushed back on Grid read on Bitcoin. Let's dig into that.
I think Grid is focusing too much on the technicals. The on-chain data shows a liquidity contraction, which is a bigger risk. If the whales are selling, that could mean a bigger sell-off than the technicals suggest.
I agree that the on-chain data is important, but the technicals are also a strong indicator. If the price can hold above $64,000, the market could stabilize.
I think both are valid points. The technicals show support, but the sentiment and on-chain data suggest a liquidity crunch. That's a combination that could lead to a bigger move. My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $63,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $62,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $63,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $62,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $62,000 by next session.
So, the consensus is that Bitcoin is still in a bearish trend, with multiple voices targeting $62,000 by next session. The debate is about how much of a sell-off we'll see, but the fear is clear. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Crypto Edition. Stay tuned for the Tokyo session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.